about now? There you go. And I turned your mics on, so it's just me. How about now? I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I haven't turned off your mic. Now talk.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
How about me?
Loud and clear. So I slide these sliders up, and it gives you volume. And I always forget to turn off that. Yes, sir. Loud and clear. So I slide these sliders up, and it gives you. See, I was telling you about the delay. So you always got to be careful about what people think, because they can hear us when I don't do that, but they're hearing me right now. So we're going to kick this thing off. Let's get this off. Get my mouse where I'm going. All right, everybody. Doug Fowler here at Pulaski Talks. Once I transition to slide here, you'll see me on the screen. I'll give an example to our guests. We got 2 of the 3 commissioners. We are rolling at 66% authority of the county supervisor, 66.6%. But you see on the screen right now, and everybody sees me, and they're all impressed how good looking I am. But that's what it looks like when we go. And once I switch, you'll see yourself on the camera, and we'll do some adjustments. But I want to first thank everybody for tuning in. I'm Doug Fowler. We've got going to talk about the tax proposal on the ballot today with 2 of our esteemed commissioners, Andy Helms and Charles Bassett, 2 of our 3 commissioners. Gene probably just didn't want to be seen on camera, I bet. But special shout-out goes to Prue Law Office, Mark Prue in the office down there, keeping us afloat down here. They've been a gold sponsor since we started, and we really appreciate them. A to Z Extermination been with us since we started. And all those that keep us going, Stacy, Nick, and Brian, all the 3 candidates for sheriff have also kept this place afloat. So we want a special shout out to those guys, and extend our appreciation. So with that, we'll turn off my host camera and my guest camera. Now we're going to transition, and I'll show you what you guys look like when you're famous. There's it goes. There's my cats. That's how you look.
I'll take that.
It's not bad. There we go.
Yeah.
So you're in the spotlight. There we go. I'll move it around a little bit. So Andy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself first of all? We're not talking campaign. We're talking taxes and budget and job quality one, and tell us who you are, what you do for the county, and how long you've been doing it.
Andy Helms, I'm the Western District Commissioner. I've been doing it 18, 19 months now.
Right.
I was elected to a 2-year term, and that's about it for now.
What'd you do before that? And I remember you spoke of it at the function, but I made for this show, bring it out a little bit.
Yeah, I was a juvenile officer. I started with the courts in 1990.
Oh, so law enforcement.
Well, we weren't really considered law enforcement. We were considered more of, social services and things like that. But
okay.
The statute gave us the same power as a sheriff
right.
to do our job, but we weren't really considered law enforcement.
Gotcha. And Mr. Bassett, if you mind doing the same, introducing yourself and tell us how long you've been a commissioner and just a little bit of knowledge about yourself to everybody get to know you a little better.
Of course, my name is Charles Bassett. I'm the Eastern District Commissioner. I've been commissioner now for 3.5 years, soon be 4. And I grew up over at Dixon and went to school there. Graduated from Dixon, studied at Southwest Baptist College, and then came back, served an apprenticeship to the U.S. Department of Labor as a carpenter. And after I'd completed that for a while, I went into business for myself. And then along with my career as a builder, I was a farmer. And then through that, I've got to do some really neat stuff, and I've got to meet a lot of really neat people. And so I've spent my adult life building relationships.
Gotcha. What business were you in? I meant to ask you at
I was building homes.
Oh, okay, home builder.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for coming in today. And for edification of not only the audience, but myself mainly, what I don't understand truthfully is the structure of the county government, how who's feels or what roles do what. Now, with the commissioners, what would you say, Andy, in the short answer, what would you say the commissioners' primary roles? You got 3 of you, Eastern, Western District, and presiding commissioner.
Well, the main role, I guess, of course, Charles and I, we strictly deal with the roads.
Okay.
Charles has his side, I have my side, but then we also come together to deal with, the county budget,
Right.
along with Gene and Dave Ernst,
Right.
and then, then we work on different county policies, ordinances, stuff like that.
How does Charles, maybe you can answer this. How's the sheriff fall into the play in the org structure? I'm in military, so I got an organization chart. You two, or is it you three at the top, for lack of a better term? But the sheriff doesn't work for you, but he works with you.
He works with us.
Okay.
Yes. But he doesn't work for us.
Okay.
He doesn't work. The sheriff is actually his own entity.
Okay.
But we have, we all work on budgets together.
And who has the final say on the budget? Commission?
Commission.
Okay. Because I was, of course, I've been interviewing the candidates for sheriff, and I didn't understand that little nugget. What about the county clerk? You have Dave Ernst, and you have who's the other clerk?
We have the county clerk.
Yes.
We have the county collector.
Right.
Which is Terry Mitchell.
Right, and we have
the assessor,
the treasurer,
which is Mac Wilkerson.
Right, I interviewed him. He was my first one.
Yes, and
the assessor is Daniel Whittle.
Right. I met him at the show. Okay, great. And there's another Rochelle Beals.
Rochelle Beasley,
and she's
the circuit clerk.
Circuit clerk, so she doesn't fall within.
She has a small budget within us.
Right.
She is actually a state employee.
Oh, gotcha. I did not. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, and most of her employees are all state employees, and they actually kind of fall under the umbrella of the court system.
Okay, the circuit court system.
Yes.
Above. But what's our court system?
Judge Hickle. The 25th Circuit Court system.
Gotcha. So now we're talking about roads and bridges. Now I got that nugget. Now I think I got it in a little bit. How do you get your funding for roads and bridges? It makes no difference to me, because and I'm gonna give you my background. I spent a lot of years counting beans through that gate over there. We won't say its name, and around the federal side of the house. So I understand colors of money, funding sources, grants, and everything like that. But what I did a little studying up before the show, but I was hoping maybe you could explain how you get your money. And what is it? Different colors of money?
Yes, it comes up from different pools. We have road and bridge tax on your property tax.
Personal property tax or property?
Personal property and real property.
Oh, wow. Okay.
On both.
Okay.
And then we get a little portion of the gas tax comes back to us.
Uh-huh.
And then we get some of the revenue from license fees, registration fees on vehicles.
Okay. It's kind of like a usage tax there.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, and that makes up our funding source.
Really?
Yeah, and by the way, that hasn't the bucket hasn't grown in 20-some years. So
what about state funding?
The only state funding we get is
the gas tax money.
Gas tax.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know if you got some.
Now, occasionally I will throw in. Occasionally we may get there may be a condemned bridge in Pulaski County. Now the state will fund right now about 87.5% of that. I have one of those projects going right now.
So the other 12.5%'s got to come out of your budget.
Yes.
I gotcha.
And occasionally there's a grant that comes along.
Right.
That we qualify for.
Right.
And then we'll get a little bit of funding that way. But it's for a lot of reasons. Some reason counties don't. We don't. Now law enforcement seems to get a lot of the grants, but as far as just road and bridge, we don't seem to qualify for a lot of them.
Now, who does the grant writing? Is that a combination team effort?
We actually have a contractual agreement with Merrimack Regional Planning Commission, which we're a member of, and they have grant writers on staff, and we're allowed so many hours of grant writing every year through that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, that's fascinating. I would not have guessed that. I figured we was trying to do that at a house and not a hide.
No. Another duty I guess I fulfill for the county, I am Pulaski County's representative to the Transportation Advisory Committee through Merrimack Regional Planning Commission.
Okay.
We meet with MoDOT and other planners, and we work on projects that would be beneficial to Pulaski County as well as the other member counties.
I had a neat conversation, not to segue to the next part, but it was kind of like I was picking at our local mayor. I asked him, does the county residents pay city roads and bridges or roads repairs and stuff like that? He goes, well, of course not. I said, well, I don't live in the county. Why am I paying for the county? Just jokingly aside, we all share the wealth, and got to keep our roads good.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. My thought has always been, good roads benefit everyone.
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And especially there's a safety issue. I pulled that. You seen that big old RV out there, and then of course I used to ride motorcycles, and you know when you're on a bad road, driving through Arkansas on the interstate. I can't believe I didn't lose all 4 tires going down there. Just bloom.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt. Kind of like what you said too. If city people, they drive the county roads.
Right.
At some point, they get on the county roads.
Sure.
So it's not just a county person.
Yeah.
A responsibility type thing.
Now, another hat I wore in my career was requirements. And do we know how many roads we have in the county, how many square miles or whatever, and how many bridges?
Oh, yeah.
But we have a count.
We do.
We have a count. And so my thought was, if we have a count, and I could be completely off the chain, but if we have a count or an inventory of assets that need repair, do we know how much it would take? If you were king for a day, how much it would take every year to do it 100%? Or is there too many variables, weather control and stuff like that?
That's the biggest variable right there. People want us to give them a list of roads we're going to work on. At least they want me to in my district. But a tornado comes through.
Sure.
2 weeks ago, I got a 6-inch rainstorm in an hour.
Right.
And so that just completely destroys my plan.
Yeah, you're more reactive than proactive.
Yes, and I tell people I have a plan for every day.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's the plan for that day.
You know what they say? A plane's only good until first contact. I think General Patton said it's only until you hit first contact.
Yeah, and then part of that is that just costs just keep going up.
Person detected at driveway cam.
Let me shut that off. I got my house was wired. If you haven't.
But the cost of bridge maintenance keeps going up, and just the cost of tire repair, rock, everything just keeps going up, and so it's hard to kind of put a dollar amount on what you
sure.
If we had 250,000 or we had 500, it's hard to put a dollar amount on what it would take.
Right.
The costs just keep climbing.
Especially the variable of whether just the fair wear and tear and stuff like that. You can predict fair wear and tear. If nothing else happened to this road but regular traffic, in 5 years you're going to have to do X, Y, and Z.
Correct.
But the tornado just hit last week, so therefore that plan's shot. Right. And it took all your budget. What's your budget this year for road and bridge? You're on the east.
We both have basically a working budget.
Right.
Of about $500,000.
Okay.
Now,
each?
I'm sorry, but yeah, that's each.
Okay.
But we have a bigger budget than that.
Sure.
But by the time you pay liability insurance,
right.
health insurance, Social Security, salaries,
right.
All that stuff, we basically come down to we have a $500,000 piece.
And that's non-pay.
Correct.
Basically, that's road and bridge itself, materials and stuff like that.
Maintenance.
Okay.
Fuel, all that.
That's the way my brain works working on post.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Budget was, you had to pay and non-pay. There's your key dividing line right there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, the cost of maintaining equipment has just simply skyrocketed the last 3 years.
Right.
I needed one of my grader operators come in today, and he said, Charles, I need to replace the shims on the blade. I said, okay, let's go get them. $1,200 for the shims.
I don't know what shims are, but I don't want to pay for that.
No.
But I have to if we want the road grader done.
But if I want to keep grading roads, we had to do it. So
wow.
Yeah, and so that's just one little item.
What's your fuel cost a year? Just guesstimate, doesn't ballpark it.
Mine's $135,000.
So that's of that 500,000, 135.
Yeah,
it's fuel.
And do we get any discounts? Stuff? Just curious.
Yes.
Go ahead, Charles.
We started right after I became a commissioner. We started bidding our fuel out for the year.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
And we found that we got a lot better deal by doing that. and we didn't get caught with those spikes.
Yeah, exactly.
In the summer months.
Right.
Summer months.
Does the sheriff do the same thing?
I don't think so.
I mean, wouldn't he benefit by jumping on some board? Not to interrupt.
Well, the fire departments have pigtailed on to us.
Yeah, they'll do a county effort.
They came to me and asked me if they could do that, and I said, sure, we can do that. And they pigtailed on to us.
Well, I just happen to have a candidate coming in here tomorrow. I'm going to say, have you heard about this? Because if the sheriff, they got a lot of vehicles too, and they're burning some fuel.
Yeah, they just have to have a storage tank.
Okay.
Where, Frisco Fuel got the bid this year.
Right.
And we have storage tanks, and they come and deliver, 1,000 gallons at a time. And so.
They probably use gas cards, I figure, or fuel cards, or.
I don't know what the sheriff's department. I don't know. We haven't gotten into that.
Well, might be interesting to talk with Stacy about that tomorrow. For those who are watching at home and abroad, Stacy will be in our program tomorrow to talk more about it. This is his last show before the campaign wraps up. So, now. You have $500,000 non-paid budget per district, Eastern and Western District. How much do you think you're going to get with this ballot proposal? What are you hoping? I mean, I understand there's going to be an increase. I'm hoping, or you're hoping there's an increase, or is it more? Is it the intent more to spread the butter a little across more than one slice of bread? You get the outside population paying, taxpayers, the people.
We done a little deep dive into that the first time this was proposed, and what we thought was that about 60% of this would be paid by people journeying through our county.
Right.
And of course, part of the proposal is a trade-off that we're making with the residents of our county is we are going to give them back the road and bridge portion of their personal property tax.
Right.
So that was kind of a trade-off we thought we would do with them. That would give them back something in order for helping us.
Right.
But we think that the tax will gross somewhere around $2.7 million per year.
Right.
Now, it won't the first year. For some reason or other, new taxes takes a couple of years to catch up with everybody.
Is that right?
It does.
I imagine there's a filter, people just taking their own little chunk of change out before it comes right back to us.
Well, but anyway, the sheriff's tax, it took about 2 years before it caught up to where it should be.
Right.
But anyway, then if we give the residents of the county back that R&B portion of their personal property tax, we think we'll net somewhere around $2.4 million.
Okay.
Is what the net effect would be.
Well, I can tell you that the immediate response when I seen this on the ballot proposal and I posed the question to the audience was what people's thoughts were. There's not one naysayer in the bunch. Just a couple of them wanted a little more details talking about the figures. How much are we expecting? Do we have an average net back to the taxpayer on their personal property tax? Do we have an estimate or what that would be? It's just too many.
It just depends on how many vehicles you own. I mean,
sure, I know that's school tax.
Well, you got a motor home, you got everything else, so you're
it hurts.
You're going to save more than what if somebody's just got one car, they're not going to save as much as like what you're going to save.
We did a little thinking about it, and we think the average person, unless they spend a lot of money a year, will almost balance, and then some people will get back more than they're going to pay in the taxes. Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. Now, these taxes, what kind of taxes are we, I call it burdening. What kind of products are we burdening? Anything and everything that's sold in Pulaski County? Or is it hotel rooms, not hotel rooms?
It's everything.
Everything.
Yes, it'll be everything sold in Pulaski County, is my understanding.
Okay, sales or what's it called? Product and services.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't tax services.
We don't tax services.
That's right.
No. But anything Missouri sales tax is currently collected on.
Oh, gotcha. Because I figured, does Dave? Who does the bean count? Is it you guys or does Dave do it? Dave Ernst.
For what? For
this kind of effort, because I seen the proposal. I got it over here.
The treasurer is actually the
max to one.
Yeah. Well, if it passes,
right,
which we hope it does. If it passes, then we send that result to Director of Revenue and Jeff.
Oh, gotcha.
And they're the ones that actually starts notifying the businesses that to add the half-cent sales tax.
Okay.
And so that's one of the questions why people, I may be answering one of your questions.
No, you're fine.
But people say, well, why are you starting? Wait until 25.
Right.
You know, and that's just because we don't want to cut ourselves short.
Sure.
Because we're not in immediate control of when DOR starts collecting it.
Right.
Because then that DOR collects it and then they send it to us. And so some businesses, it may be 6 months before they actually pay.
Sure.
You know, and so that's why we've went that extra year, because if we cut it off immediately, we may be short that year. So that's one thing that I've tried to explain to people is we're not in control of collecting it. Right. We are in control of just letting the state know, and then the state collects it, and then they send the notice to our treasurer every month on what has been collected.
How much was the tax? Sales tax? What were we talking about?
Cent.
1/2, 1%.
1/2 cents. Now, how did you come up with that number? That's what I was getting back to, the requirements. You have an inventory, you have an assessment. I'm assuming there's historical data. Somebody came up with the number of how much sales tax we generate in Pulaski County, and if you could get 0.5 cents off of that or whatever that is.
Yeah, because the law enforcement has a 1/2 cent sales tax
right
now, and so that gives us a pretty good idea of of what's being collected.
Okay.
And
county general revenue has a 1/2 cent.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's what you're laying. Or you have your own. What is yours? Is that everything? I guess you talk about that line on my personal property tax. Is that part of that percent, or that's a different line?
Different line.
Okay.
That's an entirely different bucket altogether.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Road and Bridge does not receive any money from general revenue.
Gotcha. Okay, I heard that question popped up on my cast or one of the discussions we were having. Now, what is this? Through the fence through the gate, you have what's called fenced money, where they can't be used. Congress has appropriated X number of dollars for this specific purpose. Is this the same kind of fencing that you guys will be enjoying? Nobody's going to be poaching.
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct. It will be 100% used for road and bridge.
Right. Well, that's good. I can't think of a reason to say no. That's my opinion. And I got some viewers, and nobody's chiming in yet, but we'll open the lines here for comments. I did have a question. Do you have a prioritization list of the items that you have to work on? Is that day-to-day and reacting, or are there certain priorities? I'm assuming bridges take a higher priority than a gravel road, of course, but.
Go ahead, Charles.
Well, I've told people again and again, there's a 3-legged stool that I operate on, and that is I have to have quality trained people, and we have to be able to attract those and retain them, and then I need well-maintained equipment,
Right.
and then I need supplies,
Right.
fuel, gravel. I've got 60-plus miles of asphalt road in my district, and so we do maintenance on those.
Right.
And so I have to be able to purchase the stuff to do that maintenance with. And so to tell you exactly what percentage I would dedicate to each one of those, it's going to vary.
Sure.
It's going to vary from time to time. What?
How many employees do you have on your team?
I only have 8.5 is all I have.
Is that right? How about you, Alan?
I have 10.
10, okay. I was thinking a bigger number for some reason. Now, you do a lot of contract work, though, too, don't you?
No.
It's all
It's all in-house.
All the bridges and all that, those 20 people?
Now, if we're going to replace a bridge, that's different.
Okay.
But now if a low water bridge washes out,
Right.
I'll put that back myself.
Okay, but if we're talking going over I-44, that's a state road?
Yeah, that would be a state road.
So we're just talking only county roads?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I can't think.
I have a bridge project now that's
Right.
going over a railroad over near Dixon.
Okay.
And that's the one I said the government is reimbursing me 87.5%, but I've got to come up with the 12.5% of that.
And this will help you get there.
It helped me get there. And maybe it'd help us. Andy has, I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but Andy has some bridges that need replaced too. And maybe that'll help us in the future replace some more of those failing bridges.
Right.
They call
Go ahead, Chuck.
They call those off-system bridges. That's off the state highway system.
Right. Okay. So the county problem.
They're county problems,
right.
but the state realizes that those are off-system, but need attention too. Go ahead.
Well, and I was just going to say that, it's people have good ideas. They have projects for us.
Sure.
Why don't you guys do this? And I'm great. That is a great idea. We just don't have any money to do it with. And if example for that, I had a gentleman that came to one of the commission meetings, and he had a great idea, and I said I knew he was familiar with money, and I said, if you can find it in my budget, we'll do it. And he said, yeah.
Now how's that now with the sheriff's department? I believe they get counties get comp time. Is that the same thing for your employees too? We don't pay overtime.
No.
Just can't afford it.
Yes.
Can't afford it, so we do comp time.
Is that a possibility with the tax? Well, I guess let me back up a little bit. We think we're good. We're operating off $1 million right now in non-pay. We think we're going to get $2 million in non-pay at this tax, or $2 million. We just don't know. If we need to hire more people, we'll have some more money to hire.
Correct.
And do more work. Now, what about any surplus? Does that roll over year to year? Now, I'm a federal budget guy. Yeah. I'm thinking, we spend it, we don't spend it, we lose it. But if ours rolls over,
it would roll. It would roll. It doesn't fall in a hole.
Oh, good.
Fall off the cliff. It would roll.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it would do that.
And
something it would really benefit me in the East District with is I've always been proactive. Any position I ever served in, I've been proactive. I like that. And I would love to be more proactive in my district in identifying problem things before they arise, be able to formulate a plan and then carry that out. Right now, we find ourselves playing catch-up most of the time.
The bridge is already down. You're trying to,
yeah.
You're much less. You're not doing just what do you call it, maintenance on it. It's time to repair, and you got to fix it.
Yeah, and you talk about extra employees, things like that. We could, if like you say, if you had that, if you're king for the day,
right.
Just clearing brush, and cutting the canopy off the roads where the sun can get to the roads, and and just keeping the brush cut back. I mean, that would just help things tremendously. But I mean, you could have 2 people do that every day.
And that's all they do, and they'd be busy all year long.
It'd take them a whole year.
And then then you got to get the tractor to go with it, and you got to get the cutter, the flail, and stuff like that. I used to work at a research lab by the Corps of Engineers, and this brings back a lot of memories and how sharing knowledge and stuff like that may not avail to you guys because, of course, they're federal and stuff like that. But they do share lessons learned on how to do different construction projects. But how many roads do we have? How many miles of roads, asphalt?
I have approximately 60 miles of asphalt and 220 miles of gravel.
Is there an inherent risk to living on gravel road that somebody has to accept, knowing that the wear is going to be much more than it is on asphalt weather conditioning? Because I see in Daryl Todd's notes about the people come down and they chew you hard. They come after you pretty hot and heavy, I gotta say, and they want that road and want the road fixed. It's always washed out, but you didn't build the road. Lots of times it's the developers that built the road, but somebody accepts it. Who accepts the road as county property? Is that you guys?
It was previous commissioners did that.
Okay. It's always the previous commissioners.
Well, and I think the hard part is, you talk about, Charles, my side, I've got about the same amount of roads.
Sure.
And then you talked about bridges, then you throw in, let's say between both of us.
Right.
You'd have 1,000 bridges, or I take that back. With the total number of bridges, low water crossings, box culverts, cross culverts, driveway culverts. I mean, there's probably 1,000 of them.
Wow.
And leaves plug them up.
Oh, sure.
And then when they get plugged up, the water comes across the road. And I mean, we just can't keep every culvert clean all the time. And so it does get frustrating for the people, and it gets frustrating for us.
Sure.
And, going kind of back to the employees, I've got 10 guys that work their tail ends off, and they want to do good for the county.
Sure.
They want to have good maintained roads. My grader guys, they sweat over their roads, and I mean, they want people to be happy with their roads.
Pride and ownership.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they get to looking at other jobs.
Well, sure.
Gas Cascade is starting to pay their employees $25 an hour.
Who's not going to jump, or at least turn an eye towards?
Yeah, if I've got a well-trained grader guy, and he has an opportunity to go make $5, $6, $8 more an hour, he's going, and then we start back all over again. Yeah. And so it would be nice, to be able to bring our guys, we wouldn't do it all at once.
Sure.
It'd be nice to be able to bring our guys up, more, that it makes it more attractive to stay with the county.
Is there knowledge sharing between your peers at different counties as far as setting rates and stuff like that, or is it based on completely the tax rate base that they got more money? Like Phelps has got tons of money, XYZ, and then other counties have lots of money.
Well, it's also markets.
Sure.
We're competing with
Fort Leonard.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I know talking to these candidates for sheriff, the gate guards, God bless them. They're great people, and I think all of them are veterans right now, but they make more as a gate guard than the sheriff does, I think. Yeah.
Well, and then I hear stories every day about, I tried to recruit a gentleman recently, and he said $35 an hour out on the base, Joe.
Yeah. And what's your maximum rate?
20-some.
20-some, yeah.
Yeah, 20-some.
Yeah, you started, and most of all of my guys have CDL, so they have actually training, and then you're.
And then they can write their own check.
Oh yeah. So so you're trying to start them out at $17 an hour, but we do provide health insurance, retirement, and all that other stuff. But and 13 paid holidays and all that. So there is some good benefit to it, and so we try to. Keep them in the best equipment that we can and keep things going, and like I kind of said the other night, luckily our guys are mechanics, they're welders, we can do a lot of the things ourselves.
Those hard skills are in demand.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the speaker has a television deadliest catch? He was
Micro.
He's talking about that. You become a welder, you go far. And I remember I worked the summer on the pipeline down in Louisiana with my grandfather, and these welders were driving around, and they said, "What's he do?" I said, "He's driving around that F-450 brand new shiny truck, and he's a contract welder. He's charged what he wants. He's just how busy he wants to be." So,
but I have had a goal of mine, like I said earlier, there I'll repeat myself, is to be able to obtain and retain these good quality people, and be able to make this a career choice for them, that they would make that their career choice.
Well, so speaking of human capital, human resource, and stuff like that, what kind of incentives are available to you guys as managers to retain those employees?
I started after I became a commissioner, and Andy has been alongside me on this too. Make sure every year the good people get a raise.
Right. Do you have performance reviews and everything else? You talk to them, or is it more informal? But
I employ personally a merit system.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right.
I talk to the guys, and try to communicate with them on how they're doing. They want to know.
Absolutely.
They want feedback.
Nothing is worse than at the end of the year. The employees should be able to almost guess of what for lack of a better word, their evaluation is going to be, because you've talked.
Right.
That kind of segues into my last topic until I turn it over to you guys to fight it out. Transparency. One of the biggest challenges I see with at least my foxhole, where I look down the hill, is transparency. Website, town hall meetings, stuff like that, broadcasting. How do you guys down in Road and Bridge and commissioners, publicize your accomplishments and your achievements, and update the county residents as to what you guys are doing and what you guys need. How do you go about doing that? And I got to caveat that without relying on Daryl Todd to take the notes and publish the notes. I mean, because right now that's about the only way you get the word out.
Yeah, it's more of word of mouth.
Sure.
And being out in the public, and Charles and I are both, we're active.
Yeah.
We're active in this.
Sure.
It wasn't too many years ago that, this is really considered a part-time position.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it wasn't too many years ago. You didn't see commissioners at the shop and in the equipment and
an office down at the courthouse usually.
Yeah. And so, but Charles and I, we're with our guys.
Right.
We're with our guys every day, and we're out in the equipment and doing things, and seeing people on the, I talk to people on the road when I'm out working on the road, and and going to Cal Days or going to Crocker's Railroad Days or Richland's, things that they have, and just talking to people, and.
Well, I'm here to help tell the good story too. So anytime you guys want to come on, as pairs, couples, whatever you want, even bring your team members, want to talk about what you're doing, share the good news. I think that's important, especially because just like you said, you got some employees that are working hard, and I think they would deserve the nod. However, whatever my reach is, whatever I can do to help down here.
I do my best to communicate with everyone that wants to communicate with me. I had a little lapse there for a while, but we got it fixed. I found out I wasn't getting my messages, but we've got that taken care of now, and I'm getting my messages. And so, but anyway, I answer every call.
Sure.
I publish my phone number on Facebook, and so I try to be as accessible as I can.
And this is just me talking from my work history and stuff like that, and being a geek, push it versus pull it. That being push the knowledge out without having somebody having to ask for it. And whatever I can do to help you do that, say, hey, we're updating this road, this traffic update, just a blurb on your Facebook page, something like that, I think would be invaluable to not only the county residents, knowing what their great workers are doing, but just be, hey, look at there, we got a road sign up. Oh, yeah, I seen that on their Facebook page, or Charles told us about it and stuff like that.
Anyway, I had some folks before Andy came on board come down and wanted me to publish a list every day of where I was going to be working. I have a horrible time now if I don't let the public know, with too much traffic on that road trying to block it off while we can work on it, And if I publish that, I might have an extra 100 cars down there, And we'd sure never get anything done. But I don't never mind telling the public what we're doing. I just don't want to tell them what we're doing right now.
Well, go ahead, please.
Well, I was just going to say, unfortunately, that changes every day.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. You can leave the shop at 3:30 on Wednesday, and we got a plan for tomorrow, and that plan doesn't hold up for tomorrow.
Once it encounters your first resistance, it's everything changes. Yeah, I understand that.
And a lot of it is dependent on, like Charles said, your equipment.
Right.
We've got a big, matter of fact, tomorrow we're going to have to close Buckeye.
Right.
We'll put that on our Facebook. We got to put in a 40-foot long, 5-foot culvert.
Wow.
And it's going to take maybe 2 days to get it all in,
What about using the OEM's new alert system?
Yeah, we could
share that information.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll do that.
Because I subscribe to it and it works great. It has a couple of bugs, but kind of sharing that knowledge. The challenge with public or putting it on your Facebook, I had to find your Facebook page, and everybody in the county office has their own Facebook page. Nothing bad, because that's just the way it is. And so unless you have a Facebook link to everybody's county, we don't have a single outlet for the county that I'm aware of that publishes Road and Bridge is doing this, clerks are doing this, sheriff's doing this, and then basically it's a county website that everybody falls under. This is the source, but that's me complaining.
No, that is a good idea.
I brought up the question before too about the county website, and it's in dire need of work. But just rather than the social media page, that OEM I think would be worth if it doesn't cost anything. Because I sure like Buckhorn's closed this road, and here's a link to the map, and it's 5 minutes, and everybody knows it just like that. And we got it now. Might be something to use. So.
No, that is a great idea.
So, you guys have taken up a lot of your time to come down here and talk to us. I really appreciate it. And I want to first thank you both for coming. You got my support. If anybody asks me about the ballot, it makes sense to me going to do it. And do you have anything you'd like everybody to know before we log off? It's almost an hour, and I don't like to go more than an hour. Go ahead.
Well, no, I just think, we know families are tight.
Sure.
And so we're not asking for, something that, that we're just trying to, it's hard to, we're trying to put gravy on the potatoes.
Sure, sure.
I mean, it's just, it's a need that we really need to have, and to do the job that we want to do,
Yeah.
And, so we understand it's tight for
Sure.
everybody. And so that's one of the things that, and some people are hung up on the language there that
Sure.
says they intend to do this.
Right.
Which they think intend means, well, maybe they won't.
Right.
Well, but that was the way that Kevin Hillman wrote it up
Yeah.
for us. And I'm not bad mouthing Kevin. But,
Sure. Well,
but
he would know.
yeah, but if it does pass,
Sure.
we will do what we say
Right.
we're going to do,
Yeah.
and intends or promises or
Right.
whatever. But if it does pass, we are going to do what we say we're going to do with that,
And that takes a circle right back to that transparency piece, letting people know, hey, we got this, thanking everybody, and this is what we're doing with it, showing the fruits of our taxes, so to speak. And not only there is everybody passing through, make them
Right.
pay their share,
Right.
little toll, Pulaski County
Yeah.
toll. Go ahead, please.
I enjoy being a commissioner. I really do. I enjoy serving.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed serving. And my pledge is and always has been to the voters ever since I was elected. That's to take every dollar they invest in me
Mm-hmm.
and use it to make Pulaski County a better place to live, work,
Right.
play, and invest your hard-earned dollars in.
Right. And I think full circle again. We're in Missouri. Not saying you don't, but it's like, show me. They say, we gave you these $2 million in taxes on the ballot and stuff like that. And I think publicizing the good news, sharing the gospel, this is what we're doing. We got the roads and bridges, and they never look better. And I think that single outlet at the county level, that's my own opinion, the county level should be sharing, a public affairs officer, sharing the good news. That's what they do.
Right.
They share the good news. And rather than everybody having their own single Facebook page, which is troublesome because you only got one person, Kylie, working down there. And that's probably, is that her job to maintain that or update that, or?
No, it's actually mine at this point.
See what I mean? You're one deep on your only connection to the public.
Yeah.
So I think with hopefully this passes in August, you can take a couple nickels right there and invest in the transparency and selling the good news and the good story about what you guys are doing for the county. So.
Well, it's good to know you're here. I mean,
and you guys are welcome to come anytime. Bring some of you. I'd like to see some. I'm on YouTube every night, and I like to see videos of people fixing things and the bridges and I'll come out and take video of you guys and showing you working. Just pro bono, nothing, just to show the good news. So definitely keep in touch, and if I can help in any way, just let me know.
that'd be great.
Any closing comments?
I don't have any in particular. Just thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for allowing us to do this and to tell our story. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I want to be part of the success of the county. I live here, And
I just say, if people have questions, I have had people reach out on Facebook and ask what, and that's the only way you're going to know.
Sure.
Just do some research and ask some questions, and unfortunately, the ballot language, we can't. We're
Sure.
not in control of the ballot language,
Sure.
and so that's what. And they also, we cannot put any money in promoting this because it is a county tax, and so we can't take out ads.
Sure.
We can't do this. So the only way that we can get this out
take tax dollars to get more tax dollars.
Yeah. You know,
can't do that's what that's I believe on the federal side it's an ADA violation. That's to say you misappropriated the money for that.
So this is the only way we can get the word out. You know, is trying to just talk to as many people as we can and asking people to ask us questions.
Yeah.
So we do appreciate this very much.
Well, you can exploit this as much as you'd like. And I can tell you when I broadcast from here, and everybody knows this, it goes to my Twitter, it goes to any of the sponsors, it goes to their Facebook page and broadcast live from there. So it hits everybody. It goes to YouTube, and I'll share the link, and anybody can share it and to get the story from foot and mouth. And if you ever want to come on the show but you're not local, I can bring you in on your phone. And we can talk just like we're doing now, but you'll be on this, instead of that, you'll be on your phone like this. And I can have like 11 people on there at the same time. So
wow.
At no cost whatsoever. So with that, I'm going to release you guys from your burden. Appreciate you guys being here. Hey, everybody. Thanks to Prue Law and Prue Law Office, all the sponsors for the show. This has been a great show. Really, I appreciate it. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.